Hey everyone, welcome back. Larry here again. I want to share with you an experience I had recently on a brew day where I made an American lager with a rice adjunct. My first time doing a rice beer, about a year ago I did a corn beer with a similar recipe. It turned out great. This year, I thought I'd do a similar recipe but with rice. And it was my first time using rice, and not only did I use rice, I also had to gelatinize the rice myself from scratch using this cereal mashing process, which was also a first for me after 22 years of brewing. So I filmed it all. Clay from Brewing was here to help me, and I want to show you this whole thing as a little segment unto itself, and I hope you enjoy. Hey everyone, welcome back. Larry here again to do something I have not yet done in 22 years of brewing, which is to make a rice beer, essentially an American lager made with rice adjuncts, actually, right? Similar to Budweiser, Bud, but better, I call this, right? Hopefully.
Better Bud.
Better than Bud.
Better than Bud.
Better than Bud. So that's gonna be my first here. Now that's my first. I have another second first I'm also doing here today is in support of brewing this batch of beer. I have, for the rice, I don't have flaked rice, torrefied rice, you know, the kind of pre-gelatinized rice that you would get if you were to the homebrew store and buy the flake stuff that's already been gelatinized, right? I was a little too cheap. I actually was planning to do that very thing at the homebrew shop this week. I got there and had a little bit of a sticker shock because it turns out that the flaked rice was actually twice the price or so than of the malted barley. Right, so I thought rice would be cheaper, or it was the same, but it wasn't. It was a lot more expensive, and the cheap gene in me decided to say, "Hell with that! I'm not spending $30 worth of rice when when my grain bill is like less than half of that cost, right? For the other grains." So I went to the local supermarket, got some actual real brown rice. And I'll use that at $1.50 a pound instead of $4.50 a pound for the former. It was like $9 versus like $27, I think it was actually officially. A lot cheaper option. The downside is that now I have to perform a cereal mash to gelatinize the rice myself, or ourselves here, since Clay is here for Jada Brewing, in case you don't recognize the sunglasses.
I gotta look cool.
Thanks for coming by again. Clay. Cool. Awesome, man. I need a cameraman. I need a cohort. Trying to shoot these videos and do all this stuff at the same time all alone it's a little difficult. So thanks again for coming out and helping out here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you bet, man. So as far as the cereal mash goes, again, yeah. So what I'm going to do first time, perform a cereal mash. Something that actually I have not been able to find on YouTube anywhere. This may be the very first cereal mash done on a YouTube video, at least that I could find after hours of searching. So therefore, I thought maybe you might enjoy this content, a little bit more of an educational aspect, at least as part of this video, to show you how a cereal mash is done, at least with rice. It'd be the same for corn and other things with some slight differences in temperature, I believe. All right. So shall we get on with it?
It's gonna be good.
Let's do it. Woohoo.
It's gonna be good.
So let's go ahead and pour some rice in here. And
sounds good.
And we'll do a test crush. All right, you got it? You know, that actually didn't work too bad. We can probably put it through twice maybe.
It smells good. It smells like
it smells delicious, doesn't it?
kindergarten. The rice table.
Oh,
Did you ever have a rice table in kindergarten?
It sounds familiar.
Preschool or?
It does sound familiar. I don't remember that far back though.
For some reason, I smell that and I just think of that. I've never thought of kindergarten, I guess, until I smell this, and now I'm like, oh, it's like kindergarten. Mrs. Hartzler.
Yep, definitely want to do it again. Yeah, that does smell like that aroma he's talking about.
Kind of like Play-Doh-ish.
Yeah.
Like Play-Doh rice table.
Yeah. All right, so let's see how this looks. So we mold it twice. So that's actually better, huh?
Yeah, it looks Looks like you can extract a lot of sugars out of there.
Yep. Okay. So we didn't have to fart around with the mill settings at all. That's good.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a pain in the ass to get it back the way you like it before. Make sure the crush is exactly the way you like. Again,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's
All
great.
right. So on to the next step. So the way I'm going to handle this here is because the way my system's set up in my garage and the way I like to do things, I put the total amount of water I'm going to use for the entire batch already in my kettle like I always do. And what I'm going to do is siphon off. I think it's like a ratio of 2 quarts per pound on it, not exact, but about 2 quarts of water per pound of the rice. So I'm going to drain now 3 gallons out of here, which is the 12 quarts, which is the 2 quarts per gallon thing for the 6 pounds of rice. I'm going to move 3 gallons from here to here. Now I can just fill this up on the floor or scoop it and ladle it, but since I have a pump down below, I'm just going to pump it over and we'll get up to 3 gallons and we'll get going.
Oh, we're just going to do 3 gallons.
Yep. So
down from there.
We'll subtract from here down there. This is open, right? This is open. Open that up. Pump on.
3/4 gallon. 1 gallon. About now.
All right. So, all right, so let's move that back through and then we'll just put it back in here again. That's for safekeeping.
All right, fire it up.
There we go. Yeah, so let's fire up. I got a match over here somewhere. According to my wife, this is called a clicker. So
It does click.
it does click, so she's not incorrect.
Oh, that's beautiful blue.
So now we were just discussing the pros and cons of what to do next. We have the water heating up here for the rice. Actually, we should probably just put the rice in now and stir it in right after we're done here. But what we're trying to decide is whether or not to start the mash here at the same time as this to save some time. However, if I heat this up too much and this is at a boil later and I pour it into here, it's going to raise my temperature probably above where I want it to be for the mash, right? So the safe bet is to keep it cold. Put the hot water into, or the hot finished cereal mash back into here to raise the temperature up a little bit and then heat it up the rest of the way so we're safe.
That makes sense.
That will take longer.
Yeah.
Or we can try to do some math, because we're both engineers, or were at once upon a time, to just...
Once an engineer, always an engineer.
Always an engineer. Yeah, exactly. But so, or we could try to do some math and figure out what to do, and then start this mash sort of staggered a little bit with this one to get a head start. So, but I think just to play it safe for my first time out, I'm going to do it the hard way, the easy way but longer way is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and leave this at room temperature, add this in, and dilute it. Now, we'll try it and see, right?
Sounds good.
Let's do it. Let's put some rice in
Sounds
here.
like a plan.
Yeah. There we go. There we go. All right, the rice is in, and now we're just going to get it up to a temperature of, I think the range for the rice is the gelatinization range. It's a wide range from like 154 degrees Fahrenheit to 171 or 2 degrees Fahrenheit. However, we also are going to add in, we need to add in some crushed grain in here too, some crushed malt to help break down some of this, so it will liquefy better, I think, later on from what I read. Again, this is my first time doing this. I'm going by what limited information I can find online on this topic. So, but it's heating up to that probably 158 degrees, because that's on the higher end of the alpha amylase enzyme conversion point, but it's also still above the minimum for the rice to gelatinize, I think, right? So we're going to do that. We're going to target 158. Make sure it's not too hot already. Okay. All right. All right. Go ahead.
Good.
Yep. Yeah. So now we're putting in the 1.2 pounds of a crushed 2-row base malt here, which is what you're supposed to do, I guess. It's it's actually a ratio of 20% of the adjunct, not your total grain bill. There's been some discrepancies I've seen between different websites and instructions on how to do this. When they say 20%, they mean of the weight of the adjunct you're adding is how much of the 2-row you're supposed to add. So for 6 pounds of rice, we're adding 1.2 pounds of our crushed 2-row base malt.
That's pretty thick.
Yeah. So now we need to keep stirring it though, so it don't scorch and stuff on the bottom because of the flame and all. Make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. So we're gonna get up to 158, like I said, and Clay was asking why. From what I understand, again, the range for the rice for the cereal mash is 154 to 172. However, because we're adding barley malt in here, which is really works the best in the alpha range around in the upper 150s, we pick a temperature that's above the minimum for the rice, but still within range of enzyme action for the crushed malt. That's the goal. We'll see. There we are. That's pretty close. We're just gonna let that rest, I guess, huh? Cool. We got the mash temperature up to about, was it 162 actually. We overshot our 158 a little bit, but it's okay. It'll start cooling down at any minute now. And I think it's 15 minutes or more, maybe 15 to 20 minutes. We're gonna let this thing sit and do its magic. And then we're gonna raise up the temperature to a boil.
Rice.
Oh
man, it
smells good.
Really, it just smells so good.
So we about 5 minutes left in the 15 to 20 minute mash of the rice, of the cereal mash with the rice here. So almost done. I already treated the water here. I haven't heated this water up, but just like I said, we're gonna do this sort of like safe version of this by not overshooting our target mash by putting boiling hot. Actually, wait a minute, no. This has got to boil for a half hour yet still.
Wait, what?
Yeah, mash it for 15 minutes and then we boil it for a half hour.
Gosh.
Damn it.
You didn't tell me.
This sucks. I don't want to do this.
Boil it for half an hour?
I should have went ahead and spent the money and bought the damn flaked rice. Well, you know what? That just means it's time for another beer, right?
I guess so.
Time for a beer?
We have to boil it for half an hour?
We got to boil it for about a half hour.
Okay.
That's part of the process. Let's do it.
Okay.
Time for another beer, I guess. Sorry, Clay. So Clay just asked about putting the lid on, right, to help it get to a boil.
Because I just want it to boil.
Because we're in a hurry, I guess. Yeah.
We're not in a hurry.
Nah, not in a hurry. But I guess that the reason for not covering it is that you got to keep stirring it because you got to bring it to a gentle boil. If you, according to all these instructions I've read, again, not a whole lot of solid information on this out there, that if you bring it to a boil too fast, you'll scorch it and burn it. Well, that may be true for those cheap stock pots or like those little cheaper pots in your house. Fortunately, I have a old Polarware brew kettle. This is my old brew kettle from the days when I was doing my 5-gallon batches here on YouTube, right, for all those years.
Back in the day.
I haven't used it in a while, but here it is, if you haven't recognized it already. And it's a thick-walled, thick-bottomed aluminum pot, and I think we should be okay, but we're still going to keep an eye on it and like still stir it, right?
Spend an extra $20 and don't have to do this whole thing.
Save $20 and do this thing. It'll save you $20. It's like cheap talking. All right, so that's true. I mean, that's the downside to this, right? I mean, that's how it is. There's no free lunch. Yeah, you get the advantage of the more expensive flaked rice, but now with the...
I'm kidding. This is a good process that we should always have to do.
There we go. All right, so bring it to a boil, right?
So we want this like to boil off? To be like a oatmeal type of
like oatmeal. Not really to boil it off, more so so that the boiling causes the starch granules inside the rice to burst. which is what flaked rice is basically is. It's like burst rice, right?
Oh, okay. I thought flaked was just like the crushed.
So it'll burst, and then that burst will thicken up the liquid, similar to how you do with like a gravy when you add like butter and flour for a roux, and you add that into like a gravy, or if you're doing biscuits and gravy, where you put the flour in with the cooked sausage with all the grease in it. It kind of coagulates, and then when you cook it and boil it in a liquid, it like bursts and thickens even more. That's what you want. So you want a thick, like a mostly homogeneously thick mixture. So the rice, I'm not sure if the rice will disappear, but the consistency will be like a gooey liquid that sticks to the spoon, like oatmeal. Yeah,
like an LME-ish?
I don't know.
Is that what it's trying to emulate, or?
I'm not sure. My first time doing it. I guess we'll see.
That looks good. Wow, this is so weird. Like, this bubbling action is weird.
So yeah, so it's starting to thicken up. Yeah. So see, it's already starting to thicken up a little bit, right? Yeah, it's just interesting. This kind of reminds me of the mud pits in like Yellowstone when I was out there, like those little boiling geyser-like mud fields and stuff. Yeah, it's sticking up real nicely there. See, it's getting nice and soupy. Or
Nice and soupy.
is that a term?
Gelatinous.
Gelatinous mess?
Gelatinous mess.
Yeah. So the rice is sticking on the bottom of the pot a little bit. So I grabbed the flat bottom paddle to try to break it up a little bit easier than using that pointed spoon, right? Wow, this is really thickening up, man. Holy crap, look at this thing. Man, I mean, look at this. It's like a nice thick porridge, man. So yeah.
That looks good.
Yeah, this is getting real nice and thick, man.
I think it mattered that you switched to that paddle.
Yeah. So the half hour kind of flew by. You know, you're a little bit like, oh, half hour is going to kill us, right? But a beer or two later, some conversation, it's fine. This thing thickened up really well, though. It's about the consistency of like almost like a risotto. If you ever made risotto, to me this looks like a risotto. It's really thick and tasty. Yeah. So I think we're good. It's only been 25 minutes, not 30 minutes. Again, it's a rough guideline. You just want to make sure it's thick. It's a thick porridge-like thing that kind of sticks to your spoon and paddle. So now we're ready to. So it's done. It's serialized. It's gelatinized, whatever you want to call it. We're going to go ahead and add this. Now, this is at boil. We just turn up the heat. It's at boil temperature. It's about 210 degrees, I'm sure. We're going to add this to our cold or room temperature kettle with the rice hulls I just added in it. I didn't put the actual grain in yet because I'm a little bit worried if I put this super hot mash into my malt bill, I'm going to kill the enzymes on a lot of this right away, I think, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I just put the rice hulls in water. We're going to add this in, stir it in, and then I'm going to add in the rest of the malt once I'm comfortable that the actual temperature is within the range of what I'm shooting for, which is about 150 degrees Fahrenheit. Shall we?
Let's do.
Let's give it a little dump. All right, I think we're good. I think we're probably good. I mean that's as good as probably we'll get anyway.
Yeah, I think so.
And from that point on, we carried on as normal with a regular brew day, mashing, boiling, etc. Right? It was actually a great experience. The beer looks good. The wort at least tasted good before it went into the fermenter. So looking forward to trying this beer in a few weeks, and I hope to share that experience with you then as well. So stay tuned. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified when that video is posted. And for the rest of you, talk to y'all next time.